First at 4, Nathaniel Abraham faces a judge once again. How much more time will he face behind bars? Also, budget battle in Lansing. Should lawmakers be taking a summer vacation? You'll hear what the governor has to say. Hey there, Ben.
Karen, looks great outside. Humidity's low and the temperatures are pretty comfortable, but don't get too used to that this week. Kim?
We're here at a firefighter training camp for kids in Clinton Township. When you take a closer look at the kids wearing uniform behind me, something may surprise you. I'll explain in my upcoming story.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, Nathaniel Abraham, the youngest person in the state's history to be convicted of murder, has been sent to prison again, this time on charges of selling drugs. Abraham, who was found guilty of murder at the age of 11, was just released from prison in 2017 after spending 18 years behind bars. In March of this year, Abraham was caught selling meth and heroin in Pontiac. Before his sentence was read, Abraham apologized to his family.
I'd like to address my family who's here for full support. I know I disappointed them again. Early in his life, disappointed and let him down by being in this situation, making choices that I've made to put myself back in this position.
Abraham was sentenced to 6 to 40 years on that drug charge. He also entered a plea of no contest to charges of resisting arrest. He'll be sentenced on that charge July 16th. 2 Detroit police sergeants charged with assault were back in court this morning. Sergeants Raytheon Martin and LaSalle Rue are accused of assaulting Gregory Price in the Greektown Casino parking garage in July of last year. Now, the hearing was adjourned with a follow-up court date set for late July, where the sergeants will find out if they will be forced to stand trial. Governor Gretchen Whitmer took to the streets of Lansing today with a group of teachers demanding increased funding for Michigan schools. It's part of her push to get a budget deal with state Republicans. Just before the rally, Governor Whitmer expressed frustration. Her office and the legislature have yet to reach a budget agreement. Time is running out, with the state fiscal year starting in 3 months and the school fiscal year starting next Monday. Governor Whitmer says the GOP proposal, which includes selling the Blue Water Bridge, is a, quote, phony solution. The governor also says legislators are dragging their feet, going on summer vacation without finishing the job. But Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey says that's not true.
We talked all along that we were going to get this done before a break, and here we are. They're off for the next 2 weeks, and that's totally unconscionable and irresponsible, and I think dangerous.
I got over half our caucus here working today specifically on budget and roads. And so anybody who claims we're on vacation obviously has their head someplace that I'd prefer not to mention right now.
Governor Whitmer also addressed the possibility of a government shutdown if the two sides fail to approve a budget, saying simply, shutdowns hurt everybody. All right, on a lighter note, University of Michigan baseball team just one win away from winning the College World Series championship round. Wolverines beat the Vanderbilt Commodores last night in Game 1. It is the best of 3 series. Michigan hasn't won the tourney since 1962. Mother Nature kept us on our toes last night, but today a little more relaxed, Ben, and that is the way we like it. Feels like summer really is here.
Yeah, Karen, if fireworks were just about 24 hours later, we'd be dealing with this and it would be fantastic, but still a nice night last night. Still not too bad today. Temperatures low to mid 80s, slightly warmer, but we don't have that humidity that we were dealing with yesterday. Still a little bit of a noticeable breeze out there out of the west right now at about 15 miles an hour. So pleasant evening in front of us with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And we've got a whole lot of heat in this upcoming 7-day forecast. There's some humidity and thunderstorm chances too. There is no doubt when you see these numbers that we are smack dab into summer. We'll see how long that's going to last coming up in a few minutes. Karen?
Well, President Trump's standoff with Iran has now led to new threats, insults, leading some to wonder if there is a way to ease the tension that keeps escalating. Devin Scillian tracking each new twist, including an angry tweet from President Trump.
Yeah, Karen, we'll get to that tweet here in a second. Overnight, National Security Advisor John Bolton seemed to leave the door open for Iran to start talking with the United States, but Iran shows no sign of being ready or willing to walk through that door just yet. Instead, Iran is warning that new sanctions targeting its supreme leader will mean closing the doors of diplomacy. And Iran's president says the White House is, quote, afflicted by mental retardation. Doesn't exactly sound like the language that leads to diplomacy. Tension between the countries, of course, been growing ever since President Trump pulled out of an international nuclear deal with Iran. In recent weeks, the U.S. accused Iran of damaging tankers and shooting down a drone over international waters, though Iran has denied those claims. President didn't like the insults, tweeting in part, "Iran's very ignorant and insulting statement only shows that they do not understand reality. And any attack by Iran on anything American will be met with great and overwhelming force. In some areas, overwhelming will mean obliteration." Late today, the president was just asked about Iran during an event at the White House. Here was the exchange.
Do you have an exit strategy for Iran if war does break out?
You're not going to need an exit strategy. I don't need exit strategies.
Meantime, Iran threatening to abandon more commitments it had made to the international nuclear deal. Iran says that could happen as early as July 7th. So, Karen, all this tit for tat leaving really little room for either country to maneuver. We'll see where it goes with July 7th now looming on the calendar. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Devin. The new White House press secretary is making a job transfer within the White House. First Lady Melania Trump was the first to tweet that this woman right there will take one of the most visible roles in the Trump administration. Stephanie Grisham has been the communication director for the First Lady for the past 2 years. Grisham will now replace Sarah Sanders, who announced her departure about a week ago. Shocking conditions at a Border Patrol facility in Texas may have just played a role in the acting Customs and Border Protection Commissioner's resignation. John Sanders is not saying why he's stepping down from the post he has held since earlier this year. Visitors to the Clint, Texas facility last week said 300 migrant children were held in deplorable conditions. Most were relocated, but were told some have been returned to that facility. Treatment of migrant children is a factor in the debate over immigration legislation in Congress. Democratic House leaders want the $4.5 billion emergency funding bill to more tightly focus on caring for those children. That may win support among Democrats, but it will be different from a companion measure being considered in the Senate. White House is threatening to veto the legislation if it does not do more for border security. House and Senate votes could come today. We're following this one closely. Issues like immigration and Iran will probably get some attention at the first Democratic presidential debate of the 2020 race. The two-day event kicks off tomorrow on Local 4 with these 10 candidates on the stage, including Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, and Beto O'Rourke. Moderators include Lester Holt, Savannah Guthrie, and Rachel Maddow of MSNBC. That's tomorrow at 9 o'clock here on Local 4. At one point, a long time ago, it seemed only little boys grew up dreaming about being a firefighter. Of course, times have changed, but stereotypes still need to be broken and young girls still need to be inspired. Local 4's Kim DeGiulio tags along as some Girl Scouts get to experience new dreams up close.
The Girl Scouts motto is build courage, build confidence, and build character. And that's exactly what's going on here today. These girls behind me here are all learning what it takes to become a firefighter.
They're learning how to put out a fire using a fire extinguisher. They're learning how to force doors. They're learning some search and rescue techniques.
These girls are all between the ages of 13 and 18. And this week, they're breaking down stereotypes and barriers of male-dominated jobs while participating in Camp Fury, a program developed by Girl Scouts and the United States Border Patrol.
There's a need for all firefighters throughout the United States right now, but anytime we can encourage females to get in the fire service, it's a great opportunity for them.
Amy Brow, fire chief of Van Buren Township, was on site today to teach these girls that yes, girls can become firefighters too.
To say, hey, you can do this, you can be one of us.
And that message is sticking. 13-year-old Emily loved getting dressed up in her firefighter gear and can see herself doing this drill every day in her future.
Very definitely, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, I like helping people out a lot, and I think it'd be nice to help out, the people around me that need it.
Emily just finished up the 7th grade, a stage in life when too many girls are told they aren't strong enough to do things that their male classmates can do. But that's not the case here at Camp Fury.
I think it's very empowering to see all these females working as firefighters because not many of them are doing this.
Now, of course, not everything comes easy. But Emily is prepared to give it her all.
Even if we can't do it at first, then we should at least pick it up again and try it until we get it.
Camp Fury will continue for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, these girls will learn about law enforcement. Thursday, they'll learn what to do in the situation of an active shooter. And Friday, they'll graduate from this program. In Clinton Township, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
Wow, and a shout out to little Emily. She was really well spoken. Camp Fury was started in Arizona back in 2009 and made its way to Michigan just last year. Still ahead, first at 4, attention bargain shoppers. How do you make the annual Prime Day sale even bigger? Amazon just made a big announcement that could save you some bucks. Also, she is the young Dodgers fan that was hit by a foul ball. Now, her parents also had to protect her from something else. Everyone who uses social media should definitely hear this message. But first, this mom is charged in the death of her 3-year-old son. Prosecutors are stunned by the video they say shows her putting her children in danger. Next.